Hey, good morning, family. It is Friday, and y'all know this has been for me, it's been a tough, emotional, traumatic week. And that's why you guys got the other two videos. And so I'm gonna try not to belabor or try not to take too long or whatever the case may be. And once I post this video, I'll be off of the book for the day. I just need a break. But this is just to address a few things or put into context a few things that I've seen regarding the looting and the rioting and stuff like that. And what I'm about to say is to the comments and not the people. There have been some things that I've seen from people that I love that are kind of disturbing, to say the least. And so my comments, my words are toward the thoughts and not the people, if that makes sense. Because when this is over, and well, this is never over for us, but when we've calmed down, I'm still going to love them and respect them as I do now. I'm just a little bothered. One thing I've seen posted, well, let me backtrack. Oftentimes we will say things or put things a certain way to fit our narrative. Often, Black people, we pride ourselves on being so vast and so different, and all the shades and all the hues and all the differences that make us a people. And in those moments, oh, we're all different. But then I saw a post. I saw it a couple of weeks ago, but it came back up this week that says, how did it put? Black lives only matter when white people kill us. That's not true. That's very not true. And for another Black person to post that is very disturbing. Let me backtrack again. It's one of those things where, have you ever responded to a post or responded to a text message, or even back in the day when we used to email and you fire it off, and then you backspace, delete, because you've gotten it out and you realize this may cause more harm than good. I'm frustrated. I have a right to be frustrated, but if I put it out right now, the way that I'm feeling, it's not going to come out the right way. And maybe I need to just cool down for a minute and present it in a better way. Let me gather all of my thoughts and then present it. So this thing about Black lives only matter when white people kill us is untrue. I live in Silver Spring now, but I've seen over the years where when Black people have killed other Black people, when our sons are being murdered, when our brothers, our uncles, our cousins, our fathers are being murdered, there are protests, there are vigils, Black people love Black people. Just like when you want to shine, we're not all a monolith. We're not all a monolith now. So you can't just put us all in one category and act like this is who we are, and then put it out on social media platforms and have other people comment and agree because they like you. They may not even agree with what you're saying, but because they like you and they're trying to get shine, they will comment all in agreement. There are Black people like myself and like the people that I associate with who love on Black people, who do what they do. Again, we all have a part to play. We all have a role to play. Your role is as important as mine, whether it's like the play. Well, I won't even go there. It's like some people riot, some people write letters, people vote, people chant, people do petitions. Everybody does things differently. And all of that is okay if it's going to get us to the common goal of equality, protection, love, respect. So that's the one thing. The black lives don't just matter when white people kill us. Black lives matter all the time, and there are many of us black folk who echo that sentiment, who actually put to use that action. There's another thing that I saw that says rioting and looting or whatever it is not the way. And let me say this too. If you grew up in a certain time, I'll just say, for me, I'm almost 49. If you're 48 or above, I expect you to have lived a certain experience. Even if you haven't experienced things personally, you've seen enough of the world to know that everything is not your way. Now, what I will say is, I've been blessed. I've been fortunate. I've always lived in nice communities where I had access to other things. I can get to other things, or other things are right there in my community. So I was never in a poverty-stricken or low income or not a whole lot of access. I've never lived in any of those types of areas in my 48 years, thank God. So there are certain things that I don't know. I haven't experienced. But I'm wise enough to know that there are people who are less fortunate, who, for whatever reason, find themselves in situations or in communities where it's obvious, be above obvious, on top of obvious, from their lives to their parents' lives, to their grandparents' lives, to their great-grandparents' lives, that people don't value them. The country does not value them. So my response to something is going to be very different from theirs. I've always been a anti-rioter, anti-looting. I didn't understand why people would burn down their own communities. But that was a younger me. An older me now, seeing this over and over and over again, I understand the tipping point, the boiling point. Everybody has their boiling point or their breaking point, or whatever it can be. And if I can't get your attention by being civil and being kind and being calm, the stuff that you say I'm supposed to do, I'm going to get your attention one way or the other. So for me, even at 48 going on 49, I'm not going to go out there and riot or loot. I'm just not going to do it. That's not in me. But I'm not going to shame anybody for being frustrated, for being angry, for being traumatized, because I know the way that I handle trauma, someone else may look at and point their finger and this and the other, but you cannot police my pain. So another thing that I've been seeing is this whole notion of we as black people have our own set of issues. And I've said, those of you who've known me for years, I've said it over each time I get a chance to, because I hate when people say stuff like, again, this is the out of context stuff about black people are the only group of people that just can't seem to get it together. Everybody else seems to work together and each other. But you leave out the very, very, very vital piece of that. We didn't just wake up one day like this. This isn't innately in us. There's been systematic oppression and racism. Let's go back to the black people need to love on each other more. There are a lot of us who love on each other and fight for each other and do what we need to do. And there are those of us who tell on the people in our neighborhood who are doing wrong, who try to infiltrate our neighborhoods. We do that. So don't try to paint us as a monolith and just act like if we all of a sudden just start loving on each other, all of this would go away. Because look at Black Wall Street. Look at Rosewood. When black people have shown that we can work together, that we can be successful at it, the government finds a way to destroy the very thing. Look at the Black Panthers. Now they painted them as some sort of rogue terrorists or whatever the case may be, when the reality, if you know your history, if you look it up, the Black Panthers were doing things to benefit the black community because they saw that no one else was helping us. And so they've demonized them, yet the KKK runs rampantly. So to act like we just need to get our stuff together is bull. A lot of us have our stuff together. Whenever we try to come together, they've broken us. Even in just gathering, they break it up and harass us and arrest us and all that other stuff. So before we post things, before we put things into the universe, let's think about it. You've got people who we were enslaved. Then you get the Jim Crow and the redlining and the redistricting. Have other people get these loans and hide stuff from us and, stop us from getting jobs and apartments and keeping us out of certain places. So after a while, you read this creed of all men are created equally and all this other stuff that you see in your life over and over, that you saw in your parents' life and your grandparents' life, that is utter bullshit. It's like, there are those of us who are doing well. There are those of us who are doing okay, and it's what it is. But please, as I said yesterday, stop trying to demonize people who are being frustrated and upset and traumatized. Your way is not the only way. My way is not the only way. I can no longer sit by and act like, oh, something's wrong with them for looting. I don't know their frustration. I don't know their pain the way that they know it. I know it my way, and I know how to, but there's no one solution, and there's no magic wand, because even if we got our stuff together, magically, all black people in America just loved on each other. Stop doing anything that systematic racism has caused us to do, and it's a cause. They would still find a way. Hey, we got to stop them. Again, people are getting killed for no reason at all, murdered by cops. And there's this thing. Let's get this BS notion of black on black crime. Statistically, people who live in the same vicinity, the same proximity, kill each other. You don't hear people talking white on white crime, Asian on Asian crime. Crime is crime. And so they've put it in your head, they flashed it across the media so much that black on black crime is this big thing. Crime is crime. And that's what it is. And again, I'm not saying I'm a big history buff, but I pay attention. When you look at these stories and stuff that does not make national headlines about white folk, mothers drowning their babies or killing their babies, or people killing their parents for insurance money and all this other stuff. Come on. Then you see these mass shooters killing all these folks. That's white on white crime, because most of these people in these arenas are white, and that's terrorism. But we get a bad rap. And many of y'all who, again, I love and I respect, fall into the trap, and in the heat of passion or anger or whatever, you fire it off and you put it into the atmosphere. And it's just not right. We all need to just take a breath. Okay, so let me take a breath. We need to be a little bit more careful and direct our anger, our frustration in the right directions, and stop blaming each other. Stop shaming each other. Stop guilting each other. We're not all the same, and so stop lumping us into the same category and stop acting like there's one magic wand solution to all of this. The reality is we're getting murdered, it's being filmed, and these people who are murdering us aren't getting a day in court. But let me say this real quick. The one of the main differences about what y'all call black on black crime is when John, or let's say when Tyrone kills Tony, Tyrone is locked up. Tyrone goes to jail. Tyrone goes to court, all this other stuff. Tyrone, who's just a neighborhood person who is a product of or a victim of this systematic racism, did not take an oath, did not swear an oath to serve and protect. These officers, white and black, took an oath to serve and protect. They also have de-escalation tools, and we see that with the white people, how you can be a white person armed, you just shot a foe, you're shooting at the cops, you're fighting the cops, you're spitting on the cops, you're in their faces, and you still get taken into custody. So there's a whole big frustration piece. So please stop acting like there's one easy solution. It's frustrating. It's kind of like saying, lady, if you stop wearing all that makeup or you stop wearing your skirt that short, you wouldn't get harassed or raped or assaulted. That's bullshit. And that's the same thing about blaming black people for stuff that, again, there are certain things that we are in control of, and that's personal accountability. But I cannot tell you, it's one of those things, we could be raised in the same household at the same time by the same parents, and our experiences are different. How we process stimuli is different. And that's how you can have brothers and sisters who are so different, raised in the same environments by the same people. So for me to try to act like if people don't do it my way, it's some kind of way wrong. It may be wrong for me, but I'm not going to demonize other folk for behaving the way that they do based on their traumas and their hurts and their pain. So I hope this video makes some sort of sense. And be careful about these, just be careful about the postings and the mass generalizations and just acting like, oh, we're just these bad people and there's no reason. And if we just stop doing this, that's not how systemic racism works. That's not, and again, there are things still happening to this day that keeps us in these places. Again, I'm thankful that I've been blessed to be a part of a certain life, to where I don't have to resort to certain things. But I'm also wise enough to realize that we are not a monolithic people, and that everybody has their own way of dealing with pain, grief, trauma, frustration. So let's stop. Please just take a breath before you hit send, before you hit post. Think about it, whatever it is that you're thinking, think about it in its totality, and don't just act like there's one solution, because there is not. And blaming people for reacting is definitely not the way. Okay, I hope this makes sense. But y'all have a good day. I need to take another break. I'm not deactivating, but I won't be logged in today because I just need a break. I can't with some of these posts. But thank you guys who do hold up the fight and shine the light and speak truth to power. And I've seen some of the responses to some of these posts where, it's no disrespect. It's just, hey, you might want to check that because that's not accurate. And it's, so, all right. You guys enjoy your Friday. Peace.